Cool. So yeah, due to technical issues, we are back. So as I say, I think about the last thing I noted where I was when I lost my computer was, as I said, you just basically was letting you know that the Antonia and oops, I also have to restore all of my tabs. Antonia and her wife were both present for breakfast, but neither John nor Sandeep have made an appearance. So yeah, I will.
So I went tapping on Mr. Thompson's door.
Yeah, you'll knock on the door, and yeah, there is no response to your knock.
Well, I'm sure there's some. Perhaps he was in town making inquiries or such. I'll try to put a little something aside.
Sure thing.
I'm speculating. Yeah, Sandeep, I know, keeps sufficiently irregular hours that I don't. It's not remarkable for him to miss breakfast.
Yep.
Although I say this, I say out loud to myself, it's like bed and breakfast, missing half the point.
Excellent. Sorry, just bear with me 1 second while I re-establish my my tabs on that. But yeah, that is fine. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, cool. So
no, I'm using both the lemon zester and the banana cutter this one.
Nice.
It says you don't need a banana cutter.
Yeah, so Roland, when you're what are you going to do once you've finished up with the in the workshop?
I think he'll return to the house with quite pleased with the little number 4 that he's rendered. It's probably like the flat part that you'd put up against the wall is backwards, but it's nicely carved nonetheless. And he'll come into the kitchen, and I think I've solved the problem with room number 3. I'll hold it out with a smug little smile.
Yeah, excellent. Well, as soon as once we get to 11 o'clock or so this morning, we can put it up on, switch the numbers out on Mr. Sandeep's store, and we'll have to announce to him, I'm sure to his dismay, that he's no longer in the fabled room number 3.
I don't think he'll mind.
You haven't seen Mr. Thompson about the grounds, have you?
I have not. Is he not in his room?
Well, I don't know. And at this point, I think it's reasonable to go in and check. When I knocked, he didn't answer. I don't want to make up the bed. So I'm going to go and let myself in if he's not there.
Well, that's part of the service we provide.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
Yeah, once again, there's no answer as you knock.
I'll open the door, crack it open an inch, and again repeat myself, Mr. Thompson. And if he doesn't answer, then I'll step in.
Yeah, sure thing. You step into the bedroom. Um, I'll give you the initial lay of the land. So yeah, it's the room. There's his luggage is in here still. He's probably just like got a suitcase open with some clothes in it, rather than having actually unpacked. The bed still looks made. It doesn't look like it's been slept in. It's maybe like very slightly rumpled in that way, as if being sat on it at some point, but it certainly doesn't look like it's been slept in. In fact, there's probably still it's still sort of tucked in and all that. But yeah, that's the slightly percentage. There doesn't seem to be any, like, at first glance, certainly there's nothing untoward in here. There's no sign of violence or anything like that. It just looks like he left the room and didn't come back, basically. But obviously, if you wish to make a more thorough investigation of the room, you may.
No, I'm just a little bit puzzled. I'll did he leave a mobile number?
Yes, yeah, he will have done.
I'll give him a telephone call.
Sure thing. I think the phone will ring a few times, and then go to his voicemail.
Miss Thompson, this is Clarence from the Crow's Nest. Just wanted to make sure that everything was all right and ask whether you had any special requests regarding your room, and whether or not you'll be changing the dates of your stay. Give a call back at your convenience. Thank you. And then I'll leave.
Sure thing.
I don't know where he's got to, Raleigh. He doesn't seem to have slept in his bed.
Well, that's odd.
Yes, I mean, we're not that far from town. I think he would have come back here. This is where his suitcase is. His toilet articles are in the bathroom too.
When did we last see him?
Yesterday afternoon, as I recall. I mean, he came in and he checked in. He was a few hours in his room, and then he said he was going to go into town. And, well, apparently he didn't come back.
Yeah, thinking back on it, you don't remember hearing him come back last night while you were awake. But he has a key to let himself in, sort of thing. So he could have done what after you'd gone to sleep. But yeah.
But apparently he didn't do so. And his car's not in the lot either.
Well, if he hasn't shown up by tonight, I'd say perhaps we should mention it to the sheriff.
Yes, we'll give him the date. I dare say there's a number of reasonable explanations.
Of course, I hope none of the unreasonable ones have happened.
Yes, that too.
Everyone else is accounted for. That's a good sign.
Motor oil or chocolate sauce? I say, gesturing to the bell.
Probably the former, but hopefully the latter.
It's filthy. I mean, what will the guests think? To see you walking around in this disreputable thing.
They'll think I'm the rugged handyman.
I think you're the rugged handyman. It's a bachelor.
Well,
doesn't have
maybe
any.
You'll think I'm the rugged handyman.
To throw out the things where the stains won't come out.
Well, it's a good thing you're around to make sure I'm not terrible, terrible slob.
I swear, I'm just going to toss one of these things. I'm just going to wait until your back is turned one of these days, and then they'll just, and then plead innocence. I'll ascribe it to mysterious disappearances from M3.
As long as I'm not wearing it at the time, have at it.
No, there wouldn't be anything mysterious about that disappearance. You'll be the first one to know if I have to make anything disappear while you're wearing it.
One would hope.
Well, so why don't you go roust out Mr. Sandeep and explain the change of venue. Hopefully he won't be too put out.
I wonder if ghosts get put out. And
He's
he'll just
not a ghost.
wander away as as Clarence continues.
Yes.
Knock on Mr. Sandeep's door.
There will be a similar lack of response as you knock on the door.
I don't think he's going to make any pretense of it. He'll knock one more time, and if there's no answer, he'll just start unlocking the door.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, as you open the door into room 3, you open it up, inside it looks empty for a start. The Sandeep clearly is not in here. The room itself is it looks like a relatively normal room. Like there's nothing in immediately unsavory about it. It looks perfectly normal. But however, what about the room, Roland, sets your nerves on edge?
The shadows, I think, look deeper than they should, given the light currently available.
Yeah. It's just that sort of, it's sort of later morning. The light's quite bright, but there's still quite long, dark shadows in a way that you wouldn't expect, and that don't necessarily seem to have a point of origin even. And Clarence, what's one thing about room 3 that's always just put your nerves on edge as well?
Its fixtures and appurtenances seem to have a mind of their own. You twist the cold water knob on the sink and it'll turn and it won't come on. And then you close it and you do it again and it works fine. The toilet tank doesn't flush even though it looks perfectly normal. And then when you put the lid back on, it works. Same with the table lamp. Just like everything's discretionary in there. I mean, not all the time, but often enough to be really irritating and off-putting.
Excellent. But yeah, you come in and it looks, it's empty. There's no luggage in here. There's no other trace of habitation. Again, the bed doesn't look to have been slept in, though it's the whole place kind of, and it has that just like uninhabited feel to it. It's there's no sort of a person being in here. But yeah, what would you like to do, Roland?
he'll mutter something about ghosts and can I look around and check the closets and drawers, see if...
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds like a medal to me. So if you'd like to make a roll with an ability you think is appropriate for having a poke around.
I think that's reason.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
That's 4.
4. Okay. So I think that as you are looking around, you kind of open the drawers and look around. There's clearly nothing in here that's of particular out of the ordinary. It's all fine. It's just that there's, like I said, it doesn't look like it's been inhabited since really the last time it was cleaned, essentially. But as you open the cupboard, you get those, it's got those sort of what do you call it, like louvered doors, the sort of slats in it, and you get that kind of big, stark, film noir style shadows of the louvered doors kind of spills out across the room, almost like a ladder. But as it does so, the shadowy things form up around you like a cage, and they will draw you into the closet, which is itself filled with deep, dark, impenetrable darkness, and you will be sucked into the closet, never to be seen again. Unless you wish to use one of the masks of either the Mask of Love or the Mask of Mystery. In which case, that will push that up to a 7 to 9, and we will that scene will not take place, but we'll see what happens instead.
I think I will take the Mask of Mystery.
Yeah, absolutely. So for this one, you have to mask the first one, which is mark the first one, which is do not adjust your set. When you mark this mask, narrate a time you were watching Unmasked Mysteries when the TV started acting weird. Describe how this sparked a lifelong obsession with the supernatural. Your reason is reduced by 1, and your sensitivity is increased by 1.
Clarence and Roland were watching Unmasked Mysteries, as they usually do at night after dinner, and the episode was on about a little boy who went missing in a small seaside town on the other side of the continent, but and a similar thing had happened here in Brindlewood Bay. And as we were watching, the TV started not static, but the colors started warping and going strange. And when the image normalized, and it was just as the little boy was being found on TV. And in the morning, we'd heard that the little boy in Brindlewood Bay was discovered at about the time that the TV went weird. And since then, Roland has been a little bit more convinced that maybe their TV is tuned into something in Brindlewood Bay. And there's got to be a reason for things like that. So now he's all about that supernatural. for the last 20 years or so.
Yeah, excellent. So I think what you will find is the sorry, bear with me. What you will find is the one thing that you, as you're kind of looking around the room in general, the as I said, the room mostly looks like it hasn't been disturbed for a while. The one thing that stands out is that there are a set of wet footprints leading from basically the doorway of the room across the room into the bathroom, but they're leading to the bathroom rather than out of it. They're and like quite wet as well. Quite noticeably wet. Sort of as if they're soaked into the carpet, but they're clearly like in the shape and sort of gait of a person walking, leading into the bathroom. You check your head around the door to the bathroom. There is no one in there. There's nothing out of the ordinary in there. When you do get to the closet, you pull open the doors, and there it is. It's dark and and it goes back a little way. It's like a proper walk-in closet. But as you open the closet, you kind of stick your head in. That's sort of like not really expecting to find anything. And there is a man curled up, sort of sat in the back of the closet. You recognize him. It is, in fact, Jorge Vasquez, the John Thompson's husband, who was obviously a guest here a month or so back. His clothes look disheveled. He's got like kind of an unkempt, scraggly beard. And he looks in a state of shock. Basically, he looks confused. But his eyes sort of go wide as he sees you and says, "Who are you? Where am I? Where have I been?"
Mr. Jorge, he'll just kind of he'll get down.
You make a noise, Roland.
Yeah, he's gonna get down on a knee and turn his head to yell, "Clarence,
coming!
Come quicker!"
What is it? For goodness sake, what's on fire?
And he'll be trying to help Mr. Vasquez out of the closet.
Yeah. At first, he'll kind of shy away from your touch at first, but after a moment, he kind of relaxes is probably not quite the right word, but he will, untenses a bit, and he will accept your hand. He gets up to his feet like a little shakily, but yeah, is going to look between the two of you and say, what happened? What happened to me?
Well, that's the question we have for you. How is it that you're here? Did you hear that Mr. Thompson was looking for you? That must be it.
Yeah, I heard.
When did you arrive? Did Sandeep let you in last night?
I don't remember. I was here I was no, I don't know. And he'll kind of take a step out and kind of collapse down onto the bed, and for a moment just kind of buries his head in his hands, and yeah, he's clearly just like trying to gather himself.
I'll call the ambulance, I suppose, and the sheriff, I believe.
It's the same number.
Oh, of course, yes.
In a town like Brindlewood Bay.
Yeah.
And you just found him in the closet?
Just in the closet. I came. There's nothing else here, but I looked in the closet to see if Mr. Sandeep had left anything, and
where is Sandeep? What kind of nonsense is he up to this time?
Whatever ghosts get up to, I'm sure.
He's not a ghost. Someone let him into the room.
Yes, dear.
Asked him in the closet. He must have heard. I don't know what shenanigans Sandeep is up to, but this is a little too much.
As he nods away, he'll be picking up the room phone to call.
Yes. Give a call. I'm sure Mr. Thompson will be relieved to find out, or his friend is, even if we can't figure out. He must have heard, or maybe Sandeep heard that he was looking for him. But there's something, I don't know. I think Mr. Sandeep may be involved in some skullduggery here. Kidnapping? Do you think it might be possible? It doesn't seem like a kidnapper, but I guess you've never known any. I've only known a couple of kidnappers, and they were much rougher people.
How have you? We'll speak of this later.
I was a prosecutor. You know that, Roland.
Oh, of course.
Allegedly.
Sometimes I forget.
But I did prove it both times, so I guess they're kidnappers. But I'm not putting up with this. Tell the sheriff to be on the lookout for Sandeep as well. I think he's mixed up in this business. He was the only one who had a key to this room. This is nonsense. And you say there's no, he hasn't disturbed this room, so he didn't stay here. So he must have left in the middle of the night and gone and gotten him. Oh, this is so ridiculous. Anyway, I'm trying to explain away this using Dana Scully.
Yeah, absolutely. But
I got a 5.
Perfect. So
so the mask gets marked anyway, and now I get creeping doubts because even my own explanation's not sound. I am poorly persuaded by my own explanation.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's like, yes, of course. Sandeep left in the middle of the night, not having used his room at all, went to fetch Mr. Thompson's husband because he heard that it was going around, or he was somehow responsible, stashed him in the closet, and then for some reason, and then buggered off. Yes, that makes perfect sense.
Awesome. Cool. So I think we'll take our last quick break there. We'll say come back at 1:45. And then we'll pick up with things. Obviously, like if at this point as well, we've got a few clues on the table now. So obviously, if there's some more things you want to look up or look into, we can do that. And also, if you want to start moving towards the theorized move, that's also cool. But yeah, we'll pick up again, like I said, at 1:45. So I'll see you all back in a few minutes.